And causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live. Very good to be with you. Dave Scott here on this Monday morning. And here we are in our beautiful updated Splash Studios. Jared doing a great job making the studio look spectacular. Even made me a cup of coffee this morning because I ran out of coffee at my desk. Terrible crisis. We can't do the we can't do the show without coffee, for goodness sakes. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. So let's get on with the program. The Splash Live is part of 90 minutes of live local television each and every Monday through Friday. I'm here at 9:30. Tyler Keefe at 10 o'clock. Splash Live, very local programming at 10 o'clock. Tyler takes a wider look at West Bloomfield and our Greater West Bloomfield communities, along with the county, Metro Detroit, and the state of Michigan. Very easy to watch all of our programs. You can go to cable, as we've always done in the past, Comcast Channel 15, also available on AT&T Channel 99. Easy to watch us, though, online on the web at CivicCenterTV.com, where you'll find all kinds of live programming, all of our archives, and a lot of local news and information. We are on social media each and every day, Facebook and YouTube. Just look for us there. And, of course, on 89.3 Lakes FM. 89.3 Lakes FM. So if you're walking out the door right now, just turn your radio on and you can continue to listen to the show. Show repeats frequently throughout the day, just like that picture right there, repeating frequently throughout the day. All right, so here, I don't know if we got it there. We got the weather now? We're all set? Okay. We're having a couple little issues over there with technology, but I can get to the weather here anyway. 38 degrees, a little cool outside, but we have some sunshine. It's going to get up to 48 today. 50 tomorrow with a little more sunshine, and then on Wednesday, a rain shower or two, and 51 degrees for our high. It's okay. It's very typical spring-like weather here in Michigan. A little rain. We'll have nice flowers when we head into May. So we were on Facebook this morning and ran into an old friend, former Civic Center TV anchor, Jonathan Jackson. Nice picture of JJ right there in Washington, D.C. Now, Jonathan got a new job, so I saw this. I thought, what, did he get a new job in Washington? But no, we confirmed he is not currently working at a television station, but working in media in some other capacity, which he really has not made all that public. But there he is. Good to see former Civic Center TV host doing extremely well in his career, one of our alum, Jonathan Jackson. Over the weekend, I had a great opportunity to get out to the open house for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, and they have a brand new exhibit, our Four Communities exhibit. Had a chance to see that. Gina Gregory, will check in with her a little later on the program, spend a lot of time with her today and go through the entire exhibit. So if you didn't make the open house over the weekend, you're going to get a great opportunity to see it. But a lot of other people there. Helen Jane Peters there, of course, Sylvan Lake historian, got a chance to chat with her. And also from West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation, our good friend Kelly Heyer, who got her on camera for just a second and asked her impression of this new Four Communities exhibit.
There's so much in a very small space. Everything is themed and very easy to follow. And the displays have a nice sign next to the artifact or whatever it's referencing. And any age can follow this. And I think that everyone in this Greater West Bloomfield community should stop in. And it would only take 30 minutes maybe to go through the whole thing, but you will be wowed. Bring your kids, bring your neighbors, check it out.
There you go. Thank you very much. Good to see you there over the weekend, and thank you very much for your fine comments. Again, Gina Gregory, a little later in the program coming up, and we will talk to her and see the entire exhibit. So we know that Narcan is a drug that can be very, very helpful and likely save your life if you have an overdose. There's another drug, it's called naloxone, very similar drug, and there's going to be a training session for both of these drugs coming up on May 7th, Sunday, from 9:30 until 11 o'clock and it's a walk-up training. It's going to be at Adat Shalom Synagogue on Middlebelt Road in Farmington Hills. The Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities and Adat Shalom Synagogue invite you to come to this free walk-up for naloxone and Narcan training. You're welcome to walk up anytime between the hours of 9:30 and 11:30. And again, it's going to be happening May 7th. Very important thing. You might save somebody's life. We invite you to get out and participate in that. Naloxone is a medication approved by the Food and Drug Administration designed to rapidly reverse opioid overdoses. So important, unfortunately, a very important piece of knowledge to have, the way things are right now. Well, coming up, big event here in West Bloomfield with my good friend and colleague Mitch Albom. It's an evening with Barry Weiss, this is going to be happening at Temple Israel. Temple Israel says they are thrilled to welcome keynote speaker Barry Weiss and featured guest WJR and the Detroit Free Press and Detroit's own Mitch Albom. Fascinating event as part of a program series they have going there. They're both going to be talking about anti-Semitism, and it should be a very interesting program. More information available for you on the Temple Israel website. It's next week, May 3rd, if you want to attend, and we just thought you might want to get that on your calendar. There they are. Barry and Mitch. Should be a great program. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I want to mention it one more time. If you have a ticket in the 48th District Court and somehow you never got it paid and you got a bunch of late fees and they're building up and building up and building up on you, there is a program that can help you out. It is going on May 1st, so right around the corner through June 16th. 48th District Court is waiving any late fees as long as you pay your original fines and costs. More information is available from the 48th District Court, and we'll keep reminding you about that. Hopefully good opportunity if you weren't able to take care of something, that you are able to do so. Voters in the West Bloomfield School District will be asked to consider a bond proposal focused on major upgrades at our elementary schools, dedicated early childhood spaces, and the high school career tech remodeling and enhanced outdoor multi-activity spaces. I hope that includes our football field, but I don't know. That will be May 2nd. Mark your calendar. The election is May 2nd. Also, last November, part of the general election ballot for the Keego Harbor residents included a dedicated police millage proposal. That went down. That's going to be back in the ballot. You see, there's the mayor, Rob Kalman, in front of a Keego Harbor police car. Voters were asked in November if they wanted to replace millage that was expiring. They did not approve it. It was close, 581 votes to 557 votes. But a new dedicated police millage is on the May 2nd ballot. Make plans for the Keego Harbor garage sale coming up Memorial Weekend. So put that one on your calendar. And, we're going to have the parade that weekend, too. So it should be a very busy, exciting weekend in Keego Harbor and Sylvan Lake. Program going on in just a couple of minutes as well. The Michigan Medicaid Assistance Program is hosting an event today, 10 a.m. at the Keego Harbor City Hall. The MIMAP is a service of the Area Agency on Aging, which is a local nonprofit organization serving seniors. You can come learn about programs that can help you save money, hear about the other services that are available. Too late to RSVP, but I'm sure if you head over there, they will take really good care of you and welcome you, and it's going on in just minutes. 10 o'clock at the City Hall in Keego. So, like I said earlier, over the weekend, I had a chance to get out and see the 4 communities display at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's facility in Orchard Lake. We're going to take a quick break. Gina, of course, from the Historical Society, was there with us, and she gave us a complete tour. We'll check in with Gina Gregory, see that new exhibit in just a minute. Good morning. I'm Dave Scott, and you are watching The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. How can you get involved with upcoming elections? West Bloomfield Township wants you to join the ranks as an election inspector. Get trained on using polling equipment, proper procedures for handling ballots, and more to keep the voting process smooth and safe. If you're interested, go to wbtownship.org for more information or call the clerk's office with the number provided on screen. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. What's happening around you? Hear about state events, businesses, and from the people behind them on the MegaCast, an hour-long TV, radio, and streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Listen in on talks with volunteer groups, documentarians, and financial advisors, Monday to Friday with your host, Tyler Kieft. Catch the MegaCast weekdays from 10 a.m. to 11 on Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, and streaming on mymytv.com. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Splash Live. Thank you very much for joining us. Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society celebrated the completion of their 4 Communities exhibit, and that was over the weekend with an open house. The exhibit is in a very small room, which they call the Francis Gadd Gallery. 4 Communities exhibit, of course, features Keego Harbor, City of Sylvan Lake Village, City of Orchard Lake, the City of Sylvan Lake, City of Orchard Lake Village. It's so hard to get all that right. I mean, for goodness sakes. And of course, West Bloomfield Township had a chance to get there. There were refreshments, all kinds of people there. It was a great gathering on Sunday around 1, 2 o'clock, and we were there. And of course, Gina Gregory of the Historical Society worked so hard there, was there, and she kicked off our conversation yesterday and tour of this new exhibit when I asked her if it was an important day for the Historical Society.
It really is. We're at the fruition point of a gallery that we've planned since 2020. When we redid this room, we had a new vision then, and it's taken till now to get there. We've got a 4 Communities map that was created especially for us by West Bloomfield Township, showing you visually our 4 communities, which is pretty unique. We haven't had that till now. And then we highlight Francis Gadd, who has made all the difference for us still being here. Her support was very generous, and it's afforded us the opportunity to still exist as a community resource. And so the room is divided, and we start most easily with Keego Harbor, with the sign from the Keego Theater. We've got an exhibit about that now through the years. Then we go on and have the Keego Harbor Hearts of the Lake with their early history. We have their advertising brochure. It's 14 pages that is for sale. And we talk about the name of their group as well as their downtown. And it's was funded by a memorial fund for John Long. So there's a real community connection to it.
Let's talk a little bit, Gina, about and obviously we're hearing these wonderful chimes we'll find out about in a minute.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of these individual components. Maybe we can take a step over to the Keego Theater. And for people that haven't lived here for a long time, they don't really know about the history of this amazing theater in our communities.
So it was there for more than 60 years. It was a theater that it was a community theater. So a lot of old timers, I'll call them, went there as kids to see the movies. Then in the 70s, it was hit by a truck. It had a more colorful history towards its ending days. Then it became, I think, a dollar store, a dollar movie theater.
You know, when you think about towns like Keego Harbor,
yeah,
they all have a post office. They all have a town hall, and they seemingly all have a movie theater that looks something like that. You know, the small towns, you go all across Michigan to small towns, and you know, here in Metro Detroit, a lot of these small towns have lost their theaters in this big urban area,
right,
and they're parts of these signs exist, but the theaters aren't there anymore. So it's important that we remember them.
Right, and this one literally got hit by a truck. in the 70s with the road widening and that kind of thing. And so we're fortunate that when they tore down the building, we got the sign. It was restored, and it's been here forever.
Was it hard to get the sign in the building here? I mean, you got a huge sign in a little building.
It happened before my time. It's been here always. One of the things we did do is literally during COVID, when we were painting this building and spending hours and hours here, I sat down in these two chairs and had lunch with my husband and said, these are really comfortable. We ought to do something with them. So we came up with the idea of a little theater. Oh, look, that's me. We did a tour during COVID of the tour through our 4 communities. So now you can sit down in our little mini theater of 2 seats and watch the story about our 4 communities, which we have in this.
And it's an obvious question, but these look like they are seats that came right out of the Kegel Theater.
They literally did, and oh look, my husband's name is here, Rob, and I didn't write that. Yeah. You can also enjoy the Hershey clock that was donated to the Township of West Bloomfield by the Claude Whitmer family. It's from their home, then given to the township, and then when they moved to their new facility at Civic Center, it came here.
So this clock, I presume, was a fixture in the old town hall on Orchard Lake Road that is now being, that building is being, it has another use, but...
Right, it's the Town Hall Place Senior Living. And so last year we had this repaired, so now you can hear it tick and tock and chime, which is really fun. And then we hand crank it. If you come on you might be here and be able to wind the clock.
Well, so we heard it ring. We heard it chime just a little while ago, and likely we'll hear it again before we're done here. It was really quite amazing.
Yeah, and since there's 3 weights, there you take the crank and put it in the 3 different holes, and they're to wind it. And it takes a bit of strength to make that happen.
And here's all the information, of course, for those people that don't have Gina Gregory walking around giving them the tour and telling all the information, everything about the clock and about the family that donated it and the Whitmer family.
Yep. And we had a member who wanted to see the clock repaired, and so he donated to that project, as well as the Trifoli family. And so we're excited that members have stepped up to help us complete our mission more fully.
And what do you think? Is it like 8 feet tall? I mean, people...
and it's also like one of the fanciest grandfather clocks there is. It just happens
Do you
to be
happen,
that.
I mean, I hate to ask you questions that I didn't tell you about that you may or may not know the answer. I can't imagine what it's worth now, but any idea what it was, what its cost was back in the day?
I don't, but it's like $5,000 comes to mind. I can tell you, though, that the silk that lines the door is now frayed. And then you can stick your, I've literally been on them.
You're fine.
You stick your hands in there, and here's how they're hung, and here's their hammer.
It's almost like playing a grand piano when you get the top up off the top and you can hit the keys on the grand.
And so we shined it up. We literally took it apart and to move it in here. It used to be in the other room. And as we were getting ready to paint the next day, one of our members said, "Why?" And it was hidden. It was hidden because the ceiling was too short. So literally, so a volunteer's up on the ladder, looks in this room and says, "Why isn't this clock in the other room?" And I say, "I have no clue why." And the answer is it was in the other room because it was so heavy they didn't think to move it, and this room didn't have that ceiling. So in 4 hours, we literally decided to do it, took it apart, moved it, took out 2 other cases that were smaller than this and had it done so that we could then prep the room and be ready to paint the next day.
While we move over to the next display, Gina, this
Sure.
work is, I assume, done in large part by volunteers when there are projects like this.
It is. I was a painter up high. I was up there at 11 o'clock one night, and my husband installed the slat wall. Some of it was pre-existing, but when we decided to do this room, I literally said, do we have enough to do this wall and right there? And we did, so we put it together in one day.
So we've had the Kigo area. The clock is part of the West Bloomfield
Bloomfield area.
collection.
Right.
Let's talk about what's here.
So each space is very little, so we've condensed our words and all of our history into a small amount of space, but yet done so that it's concise and you can at least get the flavor of everything. Each topic could have so much more said about it, and we hope that our website will be more robust and that people will be able to use it as well as our archives to learn more, because there's just so much going on. So this started out of me wanting to chronicle our citizen initiatives, and the list got to be so long. And I started to make a list of all the citizen groups, and that list got to be so long that I couldn't even put them all on there. So it's been reduced and reduced, keeping the flavor of some of the things that I thought were important and that were part of my history. My son was part of a group of teens that petitioned West Bloomfield Parks for the skate park. And so when we started thinking about it, I thought there's some history worth telling. We were also the generation where a student came to the township hall and said, we need an ice cream truck. So Ice Cream for Ice Cream book was written after the township gave permission for ice cream trucks to be used. I live in Pleasant Lake Highlands, you might know, and I've been passionate about that, just looking outside of my community, and we ended up writing, this is our 3rd edition for our 100th anniversary. It's turned into a wealth of information done during COVID with awesome photographs by neighbors and all around our lake. So I'm pretty much into, I've been able to use the history locally that I've learned about my neighborhood, as well as what I've learned here, well, through neighbors and through the Historical Society. So part of that I was able to include here, along with the West Acres book, which is a wealth of information that they did for their 75th. This book is 3 times as long as mine. It's such an active community that their history is just amazing. They just chronicle so much of all of their activities through the years. It's a treasure, and we have a couple of them here to sell now, which I'm excited to have available.
So you have these looks here through these books of some of the communities within our community, and then here is, well, there's our old town hall.
There it is.
That was a town hall when I was a little kid growing up, and I love that photograph with the old police cars and amazing.
Because
1973.
they were all in the same building.
Sure.
Yeah, and there they are lined up in front of it. One thing that I enjoy is our descriptive road maps for Pleasant Lake Highlands. It's just so indicative of the times, of what a resource it was. Close to Detroit Resort, why go further? Beautiful summer home sites in the West Bloomfield Hills, realization of your Elysian dreams, because all roads lead to Pleasant Lake Highlands from Detroit, Michigan's beauty spot. And you can see by their map, with Detroit, you could take Woodward to Birmingham to Pleasant Lake, or Grand River, just like the trolley did, to Orchard Lake Drive. At the old stone garage, you might turn to get to Pleasant Lake, and in their perspective, Orchard Lake's the same size as Pleasant Lake. You couldn't tell the difference.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I mean, you talk to
right.
Paul Wilbur, who did his presentation,
Yep.
and you know, that's on CivicCenterTV.com right now.
Right.
A very Pine Lake perspective of that era as well.
Yep. So when we go around the corner, we've got Orchard Lake Village, home of Apple Island, with real estate maps and Orchard Lake Polka, Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, words here about the sanctuary as well, and then the historic places in Orchard Lake with the country club, the church, and the schools. One of the things that we're excited to have available is an Orchard Lake tile that's accurate as a depth map. It's got Apple Island on it, and we have them here to sell. It's well done, well done. And the history of the city with their sailing and all the sailing was huge on Orchard Lake. 2026 will mark the 100th anniversary of Orchard Lake Country Club. That started with its sailing program first before they even built a golf course 27 years later.
Gina, I know this is of a different era, but I can tell you that my family, we sailed on Orchard Lake. We had a boat. We launched it at the boat launch, and that was one of our great activities in the 70s when we were kids.
And the DNR public boat launch is still there. So,
it is.
People can use that.
And we only have a couple of more moments, but 4 communities. Here's Sylvan Lake.
Yep, with their town hall that's so charming, and their Ferndale Beach. At the bottom, we've got the bridge going over Pontiac Drive in the 40s, but it's still in use today. Sylvan Lake Inn was first. Before it was a city, it was an inn. It burned to the ground in 1903, and people got here by the interurban. So that's included here. And then Whitfield School was a vital part of that community from 1852 on through 1927. It was new, and I think it lasted into the 60s or so. Then as we were preparing this, our archivist noticed in our storage facility that we have Whitfield School sign, as well as the one for Harold Bicking, who was an integral part of their community, and he was the first village clerk and the treasurer, and with a salary of $100 a year, and was a member of the school board as well.
So there you have it, and I had to cut it off because the show's almost over here, but what a great tour. Gina Gregory and the hard work that she has put in, and the handful of volunteers at the Historical Society. Great job. Get over and see the 4 Communities exhibit that is in the Francis Gadd Gallery, and you can see it's a very tiny room, but there's an awful lot packed in there. I think you're going to enjoy. I did shoot a bunch of video of the other things. We will go back and do an hour-long show with Gina. At least there is so much there, and that is only one small part of what you will see if you go take a look over at their facility, of course, right in the campus of the Orchard Lake City offices, right at the top of the hill overlooking Orchard Lake in our fine community. Our history is amazing and rich, and there's a million stories, and I hope you enjoyed some of those, and congratulations to Gina Gregory and all the people associated with the Historical Society on this new opening that they had, and I'm sure they and I invite you to get over, pay them a visit. So that's going to be it for The Splash today. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll have a whole lot more tomorrow morning. Looking forward to joining you one more time at 9:30 tomorrow morning. We're here every Monday through Friday, part of 90 Minutes of live local television. Dave Scott saying so long. Have a great day, West Bloomfield.